Yo, it's your boy Ancient Albatross here again behind the scenes as usual. But we have the usual suspects of the Cypher Unlimited crew. We have Spiggs 18 or Anthony. We have AD Alpha Dean or simply Dean. And just as a quick reminder, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us here on Twitch and subscribe to us over on YouTube. And also check us out on the Anywhere Door. It's a platform on Moonbeam that Monte Cook Games is trying to get together. And we have a bunch of Monte Cook Games content creators all there in one place. So if you're hankering for more MCG content, definitely go check out the Anywhere Door on Moonbeam. But without further ado, Anthony, what are we doing here tonight?
Like always, before we get started with the show, I just want to remind everyone that CypherCon 2025 player signups is open right now. I think there's about 3 weeks left. So if you're new to the Cypher system or you're a veteran player and want to roll some funny shaped math rocks with some cool people, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord and get the link to our Sign Up Genius document there and play some cool game. To play some cool games. We have official MCG adventures, original adventures designed by members of the community, plus some fantastic adventures by many of the Cypher content creators, such as Alpha Dean, Ken Hump, Gods of Gaming, Shadowmane, Underground Oracle. And here's the great part, guys. It's totally free, and there's going to be a bunch of free stuff. We're going to have raffles, giveaways, online panels. We're working on some other cool stuff that we're not ready to announce yet. But, yeah, come on. Come play with us on CypherCon. I think Dean still has one. I was corrected. Dean does have one open slot available. And Mystery Flesh Pit, National Park, and Harrow the Blighted Plain, Underground Oracle, Gods of Gaming. We need people to test out these fantastic games, guys. Go check those two out specifically. There's some really great Cypher creator, content creator settings and game books that are currently out now, and they're both fantastic. So go play test them. Decide for yourself whether or not you want to pick it up. And what better way to do that is by playing with the game designers of the said settings.
And let me add to this about those settings real quick, Anthony, just so you guys know too. Not only what Anthony's saying just by getting into them, but they both have their own unique flavors and styles. One has got a comedy flavor, a satirical comedy and dark comedy to it. The other one is the high adventure on desert sands and whatnot. I mean, guys, what Anthony is saying is absolutely true. Please join up. They have several slots available. Join up and just experience them. They're a lot of fun.
MCG re-released the Taking Out the Not Fun Design Diary today, and there was something that Dean noticed first, but then we later noticed that either me and Al skimmed over it when we went through it, because this was an article that was 2 weeks ago, and me and Al went through this one, but we might have skimmed over it. But we think they may have named the genres in the new Cypher Players Handbook, and we might have just bypassed it. I don't know how the hell that happened, but I think we might have bypassed it. So we plan to read that section today and speculate exactly what does that all mean. And I think it's pretty juicy, actually. So Dean, take us away with the reading, and then we'll get to the speculation train right after you finish reading.
Cypher, okay, and basically we just pulling that section out. So Cypher will take the form in two core books. Cypher Character Rulebook containing the complete rules for building and playing Cypher characters. This book delves into a wide range of genres. And in parentheses, they say dungeon fantasy, epic fantasy, sword and sorcery, hard sci-fi, space opera, cyberpunk, gritty post-apocalyptic, fantasy post-apocalyptic, superhero, horror, and the real world, with types, foci, and descriptors. The three components for building your character for each. It includes all the game rules players need to play and advance their characters. Then it says the Cypher GM's Guide with everything else GM needs to run Cypher. Additional rules, GM advice, sections on key genres, and key genres detailed in the Cypher Character Rulebook. This book also includes all resources needed to customize a game to bring any specific vision to life. Whoa.
All right. Okay, D.
I'm just saying, whoa, because that says a lot to me, as far as speculation goes.
Yeah, I will even go as far as saying that this isn't exactly speculation. They flat out stating it, right? So
Right.
let's go through. You counted out 14 genres, but some of them are subgenres. So,
Right, well, So technically, what did we say? We got fantasy, sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, superheroes, horror, and real world. So that's 6. But then you got the subgenres that work it out. So it makes it like 14 different places to place, 14 genres to play within. I think that's pretty juicy. And if they're going to give us, real quick, Ed, if they're and if they hold true, then that means we're going to get 4 types within each one. One representative of the speaker, one representative of the warrior, the adept, and the explorer. So that's some juiciness right there. So what is that? 14 times 4?
Oh, hold on. Let's back up a little bit. You're running a little bit ahead. First, let's go down through each genre specifically. Let's go down through each one individually, because I think that's important for us to actually separate all the genres, right? So the first one is dungeon fantasy. That's the typical. Like I don't want to say D&D, but let's say that's first edition D&D-esque style of venturing, right? Do you think that that's going to have its own set of 4 types? Because that sounds like very linear. It's not even, I'm not sure that's qualifies as an official genre. That's like a subgenre of a subgenre.
I mean, if you want to go back to the good old days of D&D, though, think about it. Even in first edition, I'm talking about the white pamphlets. You did have 4 different types. They weren't actual classes like in the classic sense of D&D, because the elf was an actual class, the dwarf was an actual class. So if they want to kind of recreate that feeling, maybe there's going to be something that's going to speak to that. Maybe we'll have a fighter and a wizard, and then we'll have, actual races being types themselves, to kind of speak to something. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, but that what you described fits into every other fantasy genre that's in there. Crazy Weasel said emphasizes more. All right, here's the reason why I say this, right? Because I see dungeon fantasy, epic fantasy, sword and sorcery. All right, I can understand epic fantasy and sword and sorcery. That's sword and sandals, high fantasy. Dungeon fantasy seems like it'll just fit into either one of those, epic fantasy or sword and sorcery. Like you wouldn't need 4 original types for that. So I'm asking myself and the audience, is that like a definitive, hey, this is one of the genres, or is that was just filler, like to say, hey, look, this is like the stuff we're adding into it? And I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if there's enough dungeon fantasy to warrant 2 or 3 pages of a book, to dedicate to it.
Here's another thing to think. Here's another thing to think about, and it's just coming to me now when I'm looking at it. What if for fantasy we get 4 unique types, broken down, but then for each of the subgenres like epic fantasy, sword and sorcery, and so on and so forth, they give us tweaks to go with that. But you know what I'm saying? So we just gotta get the basics.
I mean, that was our initial thought process as well. The reason why I said it is because you said they're going to have 4 types for each one of these. And that's what I was questioning. Whether are they really going to have 4 types for each one of these?
Well, no, I'm saying my thought process and maybe I just said it out. I said it wrong. But I'm saying, what if there's like four? There's going to be four types for each genre. Overarching. But then there's going to be advice in the subgenre areas for you to tweak those types so you can jump right in. So, let's just say, for dungeon fantasy, they might give the rogue type, the thief type, these specific ability choices versus the overarching standard choices or something along those lines. So in my mind,
that's how I envisioned it as well. And I think that's how everybody in chat's been envisioning since we started the speculation.
And I'm just saying, in my mind, though, because I know the way I'll see it is I'm going to see them as, unique types onto themselves, even though they're tweaks to the major type. And that's where I was coming up with the idea that it's like 56 types. It'll be 56,
All right, so if we view it from that lens, right? So then so now, according to what's written here, right, the fantasy section is going to be broken down into 3 subgenres: dungeon fantasy, epic fantasy, swords and sorcery. Is there anything missing from fantasy that we may have not? They may have missed or not put in here.
Dark fantasy.
Dark fantasy.
Yeah, unless dungeon fantasy is going to encompass that.
I'm thinking that might be the case. Yeah.
But dark fantasy, where it has a very horror-esque, twist to it. It's dark fantasy could also be post-apocalyptic fantasy as well.
But that's in there too, and I think that the way it's written, I think that that's going to be another subgenre. I was going to get to that.
That's what I'm saying. I was just throwing it out there the same way.
Yeah. All right, so that's one genre. Then we in agreement with that, Dean?
Agreed.
That dungeon fantasy, epic fantasy, swords and sorcery is one genre.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then after that, they have hard sci-fi and space opera.
I agree. That's another genre.
So that's and I think that's I think that covers a good spectrum. That covers. I always view sci-fi as Star Trek to Star Wars.
Yep.
And I think that covers Star Trek to Star Wars if we were viewing it from that lens. So that would be the second genre, right? So it's hard sci-fi, space opera, unless there's something we're missing. Because I think cyberpunk, which is the next one on this list, I think that's a genre all onto itself.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at cyberpunk and gritty going together. I think those are going to be two. Cyberpunk's going to be there, and then because you got different levels of sci-fi, in my opinion. I mean, of cyberpunk, in my opinion, too.
Yeah.
There's different levels.
Technically, they only have one here, so that's genre 2. We in agreement then?
Yes.
That's genre 2. So the third genre they have on this list is cyberpunk. I think cyberpunk stands alone because that gritty is gritty post-apocalyptic. They have.
I do see. I thought I didn't see that. Yeah, okay, you're right.
All right. So cyberpunk is a genre all onto itself. So now we have 3 genres. We have fantasy with 3 subgenres, sci-fi with 2 subgenres, cyberpunk solo, right? And then they have gritty post-apocalyptic and fantasy post-apocalyptic. So that's
4. That's 4.
Yeah. So that's the 4th genre. So and that kind of, I think that's a good descriptor for cover the full range of post-apocalyptic, unless I'm missing something.
Not really, because the other things will fall into it. I mean, I've seen superhero post-apocalyptic and stuff, but I would just throw that under fantasy, know.
All right, so that's the 5th genre. And then they have superheroes by itself, which is, we know there's a million subgenres of superheroes.
Absolutely.
But I think it's strong enough to sit by itself. right? Then you have horror.
Well, not just that. Let me just say something about supers. The beautiful thing about supers is if they give us, the 4 classic archetypes for superheroes. The glass cannon, the brick, the powerhouse, and the magical. If they give us those 4, those are going to fit all the subgenres that is going to fall in superheroes anyway. Because they're always there.
And I also think that Claim the Sky pretty much covers everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm expecting that you might just see reprints of what's currently in Claim the Sky. Because, Claim the Sky has the Golden Age, Silver Age. It covers all the different eras of superhero gameplay. So I'm expecting you're going to see a lot of the stuff from Claim the Sky in the super section.
Right.
And so that's ready. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6.
Yep.
Horror is the 7th. I think the same thing about horror is another genre that has a million subgenres. So I'm expecting the same thing that we might get. You see, horror is weird because are there 4 types that you could build for horror?
Yeah. Think about it. If you look at horror, you have your classic meathead. You got your bimbo. the victim. You've got the insightful one or the intelligent one, and then you always have the person who's lucky. That's how I see horror in most horror films.
I don't necessarily agree with any of those types for horror. Maybe the I think that's kind of tropey, campy horror, like that has the or hacker slasher horror, but not necessarily like
every. I just went and saw what was it, the 28 years later, and they had exactly those tropes. They had the clueless person. They had the person who
all right, Dean, is a type of trope. That maybe that's where the disconnect is, because I don't necessarily think a type is a trope.
Okay. I mean, we can. I mean, you know what? It's all in how you view it. It's what lens you're looking at it through. Because I can look at types as tropes. I can look at tropes as types. That's me. I'm not saying everybody else does, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see what they do with it. I mean,
but horror has so many subgenres in it that they could definitely figure out 4. I was just wondering, I'm not sure what those 4 types would be, but they could definitely figure out 4. I don't think they're going to go the true trope route. I don't think they're going to do the bimbo, like you said. I don't think that's going to be a type.
Well, I wouldn't. When I say bimbo, I'm not just saying that. And that was probably the wrong word to choose. But the clueless person, the person who is just there, that style of character, But again, the fool. Yeah. Crazy Weasel said the fool. So yeah. But
right, so that's currently only 7, right?
And
the last one they put was Real World, which is, I guess, historical. They combining modern and historical into Real World.
Maybe noir. Maybe noir can go in there as well.
Yeah,
noir can actually go probably in horror. And
why do I feel like this is less genres than?
Well, the book right now has 9 genres in it.
And this has 8.
This has 8, but the genre, but they're addressing the subgenres. So you technically, kind of have more. And if they're doing Real World, then that means that'll probably encompass, like you said, historical, romance, modern intrigue. So again, what what are the subgenres we're going to get? I think it's going to expand it to basically more. Because I'm giving, even though we're talking about basic genre versus the subgenre, I'm counting each subgenre as a new tool, and this is what I was referring to when I was like 14 genres.
I mean, but in all fairness, Dean, if we're being 100% honest, right?
Yeah.
The original book also covered subgenres within the genres.
Yeah,
So,
they did, but what I'm saying now, according to,
it's not like this is something new.
no, I'm not saying there's anything new. What I'm saying is, if you look at it through the lens of what they're saying about character creation and so on and so forth, it looks like they're going to focus a little bit more on each of the subgenres than they did in the original book. Because if you look at the original book, who was it? I think I got my what's the names open right now. Yeah. So when we look at the genres in the current CSR, what is it, about 3 or 4 pages per genre? Let me see. I'm trying to get to one real quick. 272. Okay, so science fiction right now goes from page 272 to that's more. So it goes from 270 to 10 pages. It goes from 272 to 282.
That's not a bad page count.
No, that's not a bad page count at all. That's what I'm saying. So, and let me just look at horror, see how many pages we get for horror.
All right, but that doesn't change my point, though. My
no,
point
I'm not saying it changes your point. What I'm saying is, if now we're looking at them giving a higher page count for each of the genre areas, because horror only has 5 pages versus sci-fi that had 10 pages. And what I'm saying is, when you look at it through that lens, if they're going to expand, if they were already given sci-fi 10 pages, okay, that means now what? We're going to look at 20, 30 pages?
I'm expecting 20 pages on each, at minimum on each genre.
But that's my point. So now we're going to get a deeper dive into each of the subgenres, whereas
it still doesn't change my initial point that it's less genres than the original. Like I think that there might be they like there's a genre or two we're missing here.
I would disagree, because if you were talking about real world is going to encompass historical. It's going to encompass modern intrigue. It's going to encompass, like, what is the book? The First Responders. It's going to encompass all of those things. Those are subgenres that fall under real world. So you're going to have probably more to work with. You're just looking at it as an overarching, we had romance and historical. Those both fall under real world. You know what I mean?
Those are the 2 genres we're missing, is romance and historical.
Yeah, they're not listed. Romance and historical are not listed as optional genres right now.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to fall under real world.
Well, like I said, for me, real world is going to be those games that you want to run, those modern intrigue games. There's going to be First Responders. There's going to be stuff like that you want to run. Where we talk about games like, where you want to play, a scientist. You want to run, even if you wanted to run like Jurassic Park or stuff like that. All of that kind of stuff can fall under more or less real world ideas, because that's all. Everybody in Jurassic Park was a normal person. There was no genetically engineered people or anything like that. So I'm thinking all that kind of stuff is going to fall under real world.
Yeah, that wasn't funny, Jason. No, but I personally think that that's too big of a catch-all for real world.
If you, I mean, I can't argue, but I can't agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
But my thing is, right, I was expecting, and this is just my personal opinion, I was expecting a genre that we haven't had in this new book. And these seems to be, and I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer or nothing, but I'm being realistic. From the first CSR to from the first Cypher System book to the CSR, we got 2 additional genres. And throughout this whole speculation trade, we've been talking about, are we going to get a new genre? And we still don't know whether that's the case or not, right? But everything that's here is already genres that we had already. So personally, I was expecting, give me a toon, give me an anime, give me a wuxia, give me a whole new genre to be excited about for this new book.
I mean, again, we're sitting here looking at it. That's what was listed. We don't know if that's all that's there, but who knows? And maybe they're gonna watch this video and go, "Okay, we're gonna throw steampunk in." Who knows? I mean, or. But see, I'm looking at real world.
No. Yeah. Western steampunk. Yeah, there's a ton of them. That I mean, you gonna tell me that Western's gonna fall under real world?
I mean, unless you, I mean, if you're not talking about steampunk or Weird West, why wouldn't it fall under the real world? That's historical. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. It really depends on what lens you're looking at it through. And I'm just looking at all the stuff that they're listing out. I don't see how it would be too difficult. Again, I mean, it's still, they can't put every, I mean, if they tried to put every possible idea into this book, we're looking at, you're looking at a 2,000 page book. I mean, for subgenres and everything else. So I'm just saying that I think they're giving you enough, and they're going to, like you said, in the GM's guide, additional GM advice and sections on key genres detail, so you can build whatever you want, to customize the game and bring it to your own vision. So,
Dean, I'm not looking for the company line. All I'm saying is that
you know what? I'm getting tired of you and Cat Hub. You know what? Y'all like to play this game. Listen, it's not about being on the company line. It's about being self-sufficient and doing whatever the fuck I want to do, because
I think it's the opposite. I think that MCG watches our videos and you don't want to say anything negative.
No, I have no problem saying the negative thing. See, y'all, you know what? I am not. Hold on. Before we go any further, I don't need my handheld to do everything. I don't need this new book coming out. I'm excited for it. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna enjoy every ounce of it. But everything that they're offering me, I've already done, and I do. So why do I care if they don't give me another genre? I can still build whatever the hell I want to build. And that's what I said. I'm not giving you a company line. I'm giving you my honest opinion that it's just like how we go back and forth about the Strange. I don't need another Strange book because I have 20-odd Strange books over there. It's all the Strange. So
But
Yeah.
then why do you show up to these videos then if that's your attitude?
Because just like I said, I'm excited for it. I want to play. I'm gonna play with it. I'm gonna enjoy everything they give me. It's more tools in my toolkit. But do I need them? Or can I make do with what I have? Of course I can make do what I have, but I'm just like you. I enjoy this shit. I love it. But I'm not. But I don't need. Again, But I'm not. I'm not one of these people who's been going. Oh, please give me another book. Show me how to do it. I don't need anybody to show me how to do it. I don't need raw.
All right. Okay then. I guess I have no clue why you're here because I think most people want to talk about it and want to have the raw. So this is Dean's last speculation video, guys.
You did not listen to a thing I said. I enjoy everything we're getting. I love talking about it. But again, do I need it? No. But do I want it? Yes.
All right, we way off topic here. The question is, chat, are there other genres do you think needed to be added to this list? Do you think this is the final list? Do you think that we should and if there is a genre that you want added, what genre would it be? Me personally, if I had to pick one genre that I think has enough subgenres to might make it interesting, I would personally go with either wuxia or toon, because I think toon or wuxia will be both interesting. But I could definitely see anime falling into that category as well.
I mean, if you want to go down that route, I think they should just take cyberpunk off the list and just put a punk genre. And then that way you can build any kind of punk. Cyberpunk, steampunk, sunpunk, whatever. I think that conceptualization would be great. Some guidance there for some people. But yeah, a punk genre would be pretty cool.
Jason brought a good point too. He said it's not the final list because they're holding some back for stretch goals. That's probably a great point as well. And once again, this is a speculation trade. That means that we're here to speculate and we're here to voice our opinions. So of course I'm gonna speculate. I'm gonna bring it out there because that's why we do these videos. Is as a community, we can speculate it and talk about the positive and the negative.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Zilzaddy brought up something good, and you said something earlier. Zilzaddy said he's hoped there's more than 10 pages each. And when you think about it, you said that earlier, you'd be surprised if there wasn't at least 20 pages. And, if we're looking at what? Just the 8 they got listed here, 20 pages each, that's 160 pages of information. That's a lot.
But it's also now 2 books. So with 2 books, that means that the page count on the genres can be thicker.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, let's just put it this way. If the player's book is going to, let's just say they're saying it's going to be a 320 page count for the player's book. You just looking at right there, 160 pages, that's half the page count alone just on the genre section. If they go with just the 8 that they have listed here and they're 20 pages each. And that's just a speculation. Again, then you talk about the GM's book. So maybe in the GM's book, they will expand and more and give you, I think in the GM's book, they're going to give you guidance and probably give you more genre information too.
Yeah, I know. They said it in the article that you just read, in the little blurb that you just read. That's exactly what they said.
Yeah, so I think we're probably I think you might see more genres than what's listed here. I think this might be just what's listed here because it's the most popular and it's what the public, maybe has what's trending, if you will. So, and then again it says, like I said, and it's giving you. Not only that, you're looking at the types, the foci, and descriptors. So how many foci are we going to get per genre? How many how many descriptors are we going to get per genre, and so on and so forth. That's gonna play with page count, and like I said, I don't know, are we going to get two 400-page books? I wouldn't be mad about it. I mean, but
but that's a good question to ask then. Are you expecting a 240-page book, or are you expecting a 300-plus page book for each book? I can tell you what I'm expecting.
I'm thinking at least 300 pages. I'm thinking. Yeah, me and you are in the same. I'm expecting at least 300 pages, 320 per book,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. And also, I'm like you mentioned the descriptors and what you call it. You mentioned the descriptors, right? I think that's going to be all in one section, and in the genre section, they'll just give you a list of you could choose from these descriptors, and like the what you call it, same thing with the foci. The foci is going to have its own section, and then within the genre section, they're going to be like, these are the, like how they do currently. Like these are the foci that fit into this genre.
No, organizational wise, yes, I agree with you 1,000%. I'm saying though, when you think about it, regardless of it being in its own section or per genre, it's still part of the page count. So if they're going to have it broken down, okay, let's just say there's arbitrarily, let's say they come up with 60 foci. And these foci are going to be broken down per genre. That's still however many pages is going to do. We're going to need to get 60 foci. There's going to be however many genres. Yeah, it's probably just be one page, a chart in the genre section that says these are your foci, these are your descriptors. But there's still, that they still need the page count in order to have all of that information. That's all.
Yeah, but you don't think that all that information can be fit into 350 pages to 400? The chat seems to be ranging between 300 to 400 pages. I think that could be, because the current CSR
is 400. The 451 pages.
All right, 451 pages on the current CSR. Now, if you split that into two, right, and you still keep a 400-page count, that's an extra 180, 190 pages to work all the additional information on. I think they could fit it.
Oh, no, I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm hoping that's what we get. I mean, personally, there was, I don't know if you caught that discussion that people were complaining about the books being big and how much the page count. We had some people talking about they were hoping for a smaller page count. And I'm like, no, thank you. I want 300-400 pages in each book. I like having.
This may be greedy, but I want 2 CSR books.
Yeah, I mean, if we could get,
I want 2 page books. Yeah.
Dude, if we could get 2 450-page books, I would not complain one bit, not one single little bit, because, like I said, I like to be able to sit down and read. I like to be able to delve into the books and see exactly, what we're being given, and I love the fact that if it's more page count, that means there's more information, more guidance, and so on and so forth.
Especially the Player's Handbook. I can't foresee the Player's Handbook being a skimpy book. There's just too much stuff, especially if they plan to do what they're advertising. There's
Right.
just too much page count in order to do what they're saying they're going to do without having it be a big book.
You and I are in agreement. The same thing I just said to you, using arbitrary numbers, 20 to 30 pages. You just look at that, 20 to 30 pages, and 14, they're all broken down in subgenre, but 14 subgenres, and like I said, if you're looking at 14 subgenres and 4 types per subgenre, that's 56 types alone. There's no way that you're going to give me that in a 200-page book and still give me everything else I need. You know, I'm with you. I want 400, I want 300, 400, pages per book because I like it, and it's enjoyable. And that means a lot of questions can be answered, at your fingertips. And hell, the way I look at it too, if you don't want that big book, get the PDF, get a tablet. You're good to go. It's not that heavy.
I think that it's a catch-22, right? If you do a lighter book, then you're gonna get people complaining that it's not enough information, and the same people that are complaining now about it being 2 books or 2 big books will be the same people complaining that it's missing insert important information mechanic that they wanted in the book here. So so you might as well just do the big fat book with everything in it.
Right, and that's the whole point, But see, I mean, look at what Seraphis says. He said, "I want 2 350, 400-page books. That's put the mechanics and stuff together from the prior white books, but also goes into detail about explaining how to use Cypher. That would be the most helpful to newcomers." Exactly. I think without a shadow of a doubt that it should be, 2 hefty books with everything you need, and that's what they're advertising. That's what all these emails say, that it's better, it's faster, it's going to give you everything you need to get into the game.
And I'm still in the belief that a bestiary is going to be one of the early stretch goals.
You
might have to see creatures in the core 2 books anyway.
Look, like I said, you and I are in agreement. I told you, I've been calling for the Holy Trinity anyway. I'm going back to my days of, player's handbook, a dungeon master's guide, and a monster manual. And yes, and I like what Seraphis said. He said, if my MCG book isn't big enough to commit a homicide, is it really worth it?
So ultimately, guys, do you think that this? First of all, I don't think Charles writes anything without purpose. Like, I think everything MCG does is with purpose. These are you can't forget, these are the guys who invented Invisible Sun. There is nothing done that isn't without purpose. There's no slip-ups, right? So I think the image that they posted with the 3 books in a slipcase might have purpose. I think the genres they specifically wrote in here might have purpose. I think Jason's onto something by saying that they might have more genres as a stretch goal. I could definitely see that happening. Like, hey, we're at 1.5 million for 1 million. If we'll get to 1.7 million, we'll add anime to the book.
Exactly. Exactly.
I could definitely see that happening. So everything is done with a purpose. But with that said, guys, do you think that these are the genres we're getting? And if these are the genres that we're getting, are you satisfied with just this list?
Well, for me, like I told you before, yes, I'm satisfied with the list, but I will definitely take more. If I can get steampunk in there, if I could get pulp in there, if stuff like that. Though, I mean, everybody, I know you were talking about anime and wuxia, anything that they add to it, I'm gonna love it. Am I satisfied with what I'm getting? Absolutely, because again, you get to learn design philosophy. You'll see what they did behind it, so it'll make it a lot easier to create other stuff when you need to. And I think with that gamut, with the range of what they're offering, what that list offers, is going to give you the ability to build just about anything you want.
From my point of view, I would say, just being honest, I would say no. And the only reason why I would say no is because I'm spoiled. They went from the first Cypher System book, they added more genres to the CSR. So I was expecting the same treatment going into the Cypher version. So at least throw me one genre that wasn't in the first two, if I'm just being honest.
Hey, we are. We all being honest. Like I said, it, and again, it truly kind of boils down to, it kind of boils down to really, what you expect, and what your desire levels are. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Like I said, we get another genre, I will not be mad. But
so everybody's talking about the bestiary. We might Sean might have mentioned something. And congratulations again to all the winners that got to play, that are going to play CypherCon with Sean K. Reynolds. We announced the 10 winners last week. Congrats again to you guys. You're in for a hell of a game. But yeah, this was a short little sweet little video. This was something, and we'll post a link to the article, but if you follow, the easiest way to get any of these articles is to go to Monte Cook Games Backer Kit and follow the Backer Kit information, and you get all these same emails that we all get, right? We got this email today for the Monte Cook Design Diary, which was a reprint from Design Lab Diary, which was a reprint from 2 weeks ago. And we just missed this one part when they were going over the genres, and we thought it'd be a fun idea to come on here and speculate about them.
Actually, somebody in the chat said you didn't miss it. It wasn't there. That was actually added. That's what I'm saying. When I look at these, I look for anything that I haven't heard us talk about or go over. That's why I read every email they send us, because if you look at that email, they put a lot of stuff that they had already talked about, but this was a major section that wasn't there. So,
well, either way, it's a hell of a clue. So right. I'm what you call it. I'm excited about this. I'm excited to see where this is going. Unlike Dean, I'm excited for the speculation trade. I'm just busting your chops, Dean. No, I'm excited to come over here and to talk about every little bit, every little nuance added to these articles that we should call it. So we could actually dig deep and figure it out.
Because even the design diary, if you read the design diary the way it's written, it is actually different from the design notes. You can, if you just go back in our notes, you'll see that they kind of expanded even on that. But it
they also posted by two different people. The design diaries are posted by Monty. The design notes are posted by Charles.
See, okay, well there you go. So.
Even though they might have like 95% the same information on them, they are posted by two different people.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I know. That's what made me, because when I started reading the design diary, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't the same thing I read before. The style and everything else, and it was just more. There was more to the design diary than there was, even though it was the same stuff.
Before I go into my spiel, let's just go over what it said about the Cypher GM's guide, because maybe there's something else different. It says, where everything else the GM needs to run Cypher, additional rules, GM advice, sections on the key genre details in the Cypher Creator. Hold on,
Cypher Character Rule Book.
In the Cypher Character Book. This book also includes all the resources needed to customize the game to bring any specific vision to life. What do you think they mean by that last sentence?
That's exactly what I was saying. That I think that's probably where we're going to get mention of some of the other genres and the advice in order how to use what's already been given to us to actually do those things. Because of course, like we said, there's overlap in so many of the different genres. So in the modern one, they might say, hey, use this, and this, and do this, and now you have your pulp era. They got cyberpunk. Well, guess what? All you have to do is tweak this here and change this here. Now you got steampunk. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about because that's how I look at the Cypher System rulebook, you know. And
you know what's weird about this description? And once again, I might be overanalyzing and over speculating, right? But there's nothing in this article, in this like blurb about the GM's guide that mentions ciphers, artifacts, or monsters. So is that going to be once again the speculation train, right? Is that going to be in the bestiary book that we're talking about, or because what do you think they would have put? And here's where you're going to get your ciphers, and here's where you're going to get your artifacts, but it's not even mentioned in there.
Well, to me, it's mentioned right there. It says resources. This book also includes all the resources needed to customize a game to bring any specific vision life. So I'm thinking that's where you're going to see your ciphers. You're going to see your artifacts. You're going to see, you know, advice on those things. I think you're going to see some of that in the character book as well, but I think you're going to get a lot more clarity and
I don't think you're going to see any of that stuff in the character book. I don't think you're seeing ciphers or artifacts in the character book.
Only reason I'll disagree is because when you're creating a character, it normally gives you, you know, even in Cypher, it always talks about your starting ciphers. So if you're going to let players come to the table with their character sheets completed, they're going to need starting ciphers. That's just me throwing it out there, but I could be wrong. Like you said, it could just be in the GM's book, and the GM is going to be responsible for giving everybody ciphers when they get started.
I always give out the ciphers, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah. And Jason and Crazy Weezer were both saying, he said, I guess I wasn't supposed to mention it, but it's still on the CU in the thread that Charles built. I assumed if he wanted it to remove it, he would have deleted it by now. So yeah,
what's he talking about? What's he talking about?
Where Charles said exactly, what is it? Jason had put up one. He said Charles on the bestiary. He said, but since we're making 2 new books with gorgeous new covers and maybe some special backer only features, why not also offer a reissue of the CS bestiary that matches? And with those super minor adjustments built into the text for your convenience, seems like something we want in our slipcase, and you might too. To be super clear, this isn't a new book. It's a reissue of the existing bestiary with tweaks. We aren't requiring you or even asking you to buy it. And he had Charles, yeah, and Charles, that's what I'm saying. That was in the Cypher discussion area that we have. So
I'll take that on my slipcase for sure.
See, me too. That come on. But there is now we have a Holy Trinity. It's not a new book, but it's a Holy Trinity.
You got any final thoughts before I cut us out here?
Real quick, real simple, guys. You know, me and Anthony go back and forth. Trust me, it ain't nothing but love. We are all in agreement. We are all excited, 100% for any and everything that comes. I just say a lot of times, you don't need it, but please give it to me. So don't ever take it like I'm, shitting on the Cypher system or whatever, or anybody out there who wants stuff. I'm just saying, that's just me.
I'm super excited to see this all come to fruition. Every time we do these videos, I get more and more hype. I want this now. I know I could be the more negative of the two, but I'm opinionated, and I'm a firm believer that I think that I was a big part of why we got a bestiary for the first place, because I was the one saying that it was horrible that we didn't have one from day one. So I think my nagging and my hardline stance. No, D, don't give me that look. You was like, we don't need one like you do with everything. We don't need one. We can make our own bestiary. We'll go back to one video.
Back up. That was the one thing we did agree upon. I have been saying that again. We definitely needed a Cypher. I was saying that one I agreed upon, and I agreed with you. So it wasn't just you, because Al agreed. We all agreed. That was one of the few times we all agreed on something.
Who's the loudest voice on that?
Oh no, you would always bring it up, but we would always chime in with you. Absolutely, Anthony. Yes, that's right, because we all agree.
I was the loudest voice on that, and I was the loudest voice on the starter set. There's no way you can tell me that we could go back. The beauty about video is that we have it here on tape.
Again, you would bring it up, and we would all agree. That's all I'm saying. Yes, you may have been the one who brought it up, but it wasn't like I've never taken any credit from you. But the point is, you were not the only one speaking on it. just like listen, I'll put it this way.
I say go back to the videotape.
No, look, just like we
don't have to argue about it. There's a videotape that tells you.
Stop.
That shows you.
Stop.
And I guarantee you that we have 100 videos of Dean saying, I don't need this because I can make it myself. That's like your motto.
I will bet you right now, if you go back and watch any video that you mention the starter, the starter set, or the bestiary, the monster manual, whatever you want to call it, you got no pushback from me. You never heard those words come out of my mouth. The reason why I can say that is because I know what I do. I keep things. I got a head like a sieve, and you know it.
All right.
Than anything. So
let's put a pin on that. Let's put a pin on that. We'll go back to the videotape.
Go back to the videos.
If you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server for all things Monte Cook Games. We have the largest fan-run Discord server for everything MCG. But if Discord's not for you, join our Facebook group. Not as big as our Discord, but still great conversations being had there daily. CypherCon is still going on, and player sign-ups is going on right now as we speak. Head on over there and join on a game and come play with us. I think there's only 3 or 4 weeks left to sign up, so try to do that as soon as possible. Could you please give us a sub here on Twitch or anywhere door on Moonbeam or YouTube, and like, share, subscribe on all 3 platforms. We're still trying to build all 3 platforms as big as we can, and any help you could give us on that front would be greatly appreciated. If you watch this on YouTube, give us post a little comment there. It helps us out tremendously with the algorithm. Our videos are always free, but if you want to support us financially in any way, you could give us a little donation on Ko-fi, or go to our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch, like the shirt Dean got on. And yes, CypherCon merch is now available on the online store. And last but not least, we love you guys.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching, audience, chat. Thank you, Spiggs and Dean, for hosting. Definitely very interested in these genres, and definitely interested to see how they break them down further for these broader ones. But that will come with time. But as usual, thank you guys. And from us at the CU, we will see you later. Peace.